got on a bad run. back on the tail of Gunnar. He's looking to make an overtake already. Down the inside he goes.
Is he gonna go? He's gonna do it!
Oh, with Hackett now up into P9. Down the inside he goes. Another aggressive move on the other Mercedes driver. Is he gonna make a mistake? Doesn't look like.
Closing. Problem is, if he goes.
Oh, that's nice for Broad Adam, moving up to P7.
As he's currently looking to gain about 3 or 4 points. Oh, and is Nellboy going to go for it down the inside of Waza? Seems like he is, and he makes up that position. Beautiful overtake by Nellboy.
12 races, multiple divisions, 20 drivers.
All that sound good? Then why not join us now ahead of the new season? The link to our Discord will be in the description, and we hope to see you on track with us.
Delta T Racing.
Welcome back everyone to Delta T Racing. You join me for the final race of Season 14 here in Division 2. Fittingly, we will be in Abu Dhabi for our season finale. However, just before we get onto that, you may have noticed we are not loading in just yet. That will be explained now. If you watched yesterday's Division 1 race, of course, you will understand what is going on. However, for those who do not know, I have put together a short piece using some of the league members' words, which I will read to you all now. On the 10th of February 2025, DTR lost a champion. Hammers UK 88, or to those who knew him well, Lewis. Lewis was a friend to everyone. On track, he was a great competitor and a worthy multiple champion. Whilst off track, he provided fantastic commentating, impartial and fair stewarding, while providing amazing humour, and was proclaimed as one of the best teammates you could have had. DTR was honoured to host such a gentleman. We will be observing a minute's silence for Lewis in memory of him, and to spare a moment of thought for his wife and 2 children who lost a husband and a father. From the start of qualifying until the time has hit 17 minutes to go, everyone will stay in their garages until the minute has ended, and I, of course, will be respecting this minute's silence as well. I hope you can all respect this as we get into the race. Let's make this final one a good one. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for showing your respects. Let's end this season off with a corker of a race. Abu Dhabi, of course, remembered for its immensely controversial 2021 race. It's a fantastic races track, plenty of opportunities for overtakes, wheel-to-wheel action, of course, short and long-term strategy, where the ideal tyre strategy is a one-stop. However, those looking to get their aggressive driving out will opt for the two-stop. You are here with me, Relish 33, for one last time this season, Season 14, Division 2. Let's get into qualifying. Hello, Andre. Let's get all of this information up that we would like. If we are going out on track, got a McLaren in D Summers following what looks like a Williams, maybe? Of NLD Rush. Yes, it is. Let the tyres off, we don't need that. We assume all of them will be on the soft tyre for this qualifying session. Let's have a look on board of... In fact, let's get the standings up for our final race of the season. We have D Summers out in the lead. Of course, he's been leading for quite some time. Questionable race last week in Qatar meant he scored no points, although this not making a massive impact. 23 points the difference between him and Johnny in second. He'll have to bottle it big time and have Johnny win the race to lose out on the championship tonight. Have Connor keeping the Constructors' Championship with the Racing Bulls after last season with his teammate Johnny. Bogorovsky in P4 doing a fantastic job considering the DNFs and missed races he has had this season. Ipke ever consistent with his Ferrari teammate Andre in 5 and 6, Hummer P7, Tommy 8, Riker in 9 and Nell in P10. Fantastic considering he's missed 5 races this season. And over to the Constructors, the Racing Bulls took the championship, at least in my eyes, last week. They were going to have to make sure they score at least some points to make sure it is officially confirmed this week. However, Ferrari are going to have an absolutely amazing race if they want to take the Constructors' Championship. Those two were the big fires this season. So with that, we will get back to this opening qualifying lap. We missed out on the first sector with D-Rush going into what is one of the hardest chicanes on the calendar, in my opinion, and there is why the off-camberedness throws the back of the car out big time, and you can always lose traction in the acceleration zone out of there. D Summers done a much better job though. Lots of battery used. The purple sector 2, of course, as the first man to have set a time round there. One last sector to go. You better hope your tyres are holding on, otherwise you will be in the walls with the off-camberedness of some of these corners. The double left-hander under the tunnel, always funky. It goes from off-camber to flat, off-camber again, always easy to go wide there, but he's done a good job. One more corner to go as he comes around. What will your qualifying time to beat be? It is a 1:24.461. That feels like a pretty strong time to me. We've got a Ferrari and Pipke who absolutely tells me no, it's not. 24.213. D-Rush, of course, after watching him hit the wall, he's not set a time. He's got some wing damage, so not sure why he stayed out in that condition. Tom Putty and Ralphibus set a time each to go 3 and 4. Lakatzis managed to beat them in a 24.6. Another man coming across the line, Andre, setting a good lap, showing the Ferraris are that ever so consistent, as I always mention every week, at least 2 or 3 times. Riker with a new fastest lap, the first man into the 23s, a 23.944 for the Aston Martin driver. Is a fantastic banker lap. We will see plenty of drivers go slower. 24.258 for Connor on his banker. Raikkonen, Ralphibus and D-Rush at the back there. We've got Brother Adam joining his teammate P9 for a 24.962. Skipper set to 24.7 in the Kick Sauber. We've got the 2 Haas cars coming around for their first lap. Bogorovsky giving a tow to Nellboy, looks like, all the way around this track. Don't particularly want to tow all the way through this last sector though, I must admit. The dirty air is not going to help you at all. Plenty of that inside gear taken under the hotel. Nice and controlled, and plenty of curb taken on the final corner as well to boot. That is a nice line and a new fastest lap by over 3 tenths for Barry Bogarovsky at 23.639. Nelboy pulled into the pits after invalidating, it looks like. We've got 2 more drivers left to go. Johnny, one of the quickest. We'll have to see where he puts himself after he's finished his out lap. Bombi about to start his lap now. In fact, no, he isn't. He almost collects the barrier on pit entry. Don't do that. We saw a Williams do that yesterday in Stewart in the race. Managed to drop himself down big time from that mistake. Got wing damage as well, losing both end plates and having to have it replaced. Fantastic lap for Bog, I must say. 23.6 on his flyer. Not his flyer, on his banker. He can definitely be proud of that, although he might be thinking, how on earth am I going to go any quicker than that now? Absolutely everyone came out at the start there. It's hard to keep up, thankfully. We've got everyone back in again. Maybe they'll come out a little more spread out this time. We've got Brother Adam still going around. It looks like he's going for another lap, in fact. Can't see, yeah, he's got plenty of fuel on board. He's using the ERS down this first DRS straight into one of the hardest chicanes, as I've mentioned already. You don't want to hit that big orange sausage curb on either the left or right hander. It's actually real nice and smooth on the throttle through the chicane for the Mercedes driver on the DRS, and ERS burning all the way down here. You want to use almost all of it, not a massive amount of track left to use that ERS. A little bit here out that long left-hander. He actually decides against using any of it there. Wants to keep it maybe for the very, very last bit. One harsh right-hander leading into a double lefter, as mentioned. That white line always creeps further over than you expect it to. He said a 1:24.9. Will he improve? I think he will. It's a 24.712, exactly a quarter of a second improvement. My brother Adam moves him up only 2 places, unfortunately. I'm sure he'll be back into the pits and out for another lap at some point. They've got plenty of drivers making their way back out now. We got a Riker in the Aston Martin, the only man in the 23s other than Bog himself on pole. Warming up those tyres down this back straight. Lots of steering angle there, warming up the front tyres through sheer force. Sometimes it's something you need to do to get any sort of temp in them if you are lacking a bit of oversteer or just suffering so much understeer you can't even manage it. You have to orchard the tyres by oversteering like that on your out lap. Effective, but sometimes can wear him out a little bit too much. Johnny actually sets himself for 24.1. Apologies for missing that. He up into the top 3. He's complaining a little bit about lack of pace across a race distance. He said he was a good over 1 lap. Is proving that there. Whether he can get a bit quicker, he's still got 5/10 almost off of Bog on pole. Lots of people out on track on laps now. We'll have to keep an eye on the times. 51 of them setting a good lap earlier on, 24.2. You're going to have to expect he gets into the 23s. This man can be quick in qualifying when he needs to be. Prediction: Bog pole and win. Summers wins title. Well, I think you'd be a silly man to bet against anything about against Summers not winning the title with his 24-point lead, or 23-point lead, I think it is, sorry. But a Bog win, well, that time he's set already in quali means that unless he really doesn't have a great race, he's got a very good chance of winning this one tonight. Putty moves himself up into P4 with a 24.1. That's a good time for the Mercedes. Melty Rush, that's a new pole time, beating Bog only out by about 300ths of a second. That is a fantastic time for the Williams driver, who normally goes well in qualifying. Bog will not be pleased with that. A couple of cars to come across the line now with stick on with Pipke as he comes through the final corner. His teammate Andre just went across the line, didn't seem to improve. I know he's pitted. Pipke up to 23.8. Of course, I said he'd be in the 23s. That's a decent time. He'll have one more attempt at least in this qualifying session. Havoc Connor is He's up to 23.9, just about breaks into the 23s ahead of his teammate, just in the 24s, 5 and 6 for them now. See if they can move down a position each, and then it'll be the funny number. We got Skipper coming around the final corner to set himself a new time of a 1:24.6, just over a 10th improvement for the Kick Sauber driver. We've got Brother Adam on his outlap down the back straight. We'll keep an eye out for him going and setting a quicker time. Ralphabos through the final sector. Car in front moves out of the way. Good stuff there. We don't want to see any impeding through the final sector, definitely. Across the line, 3.5% improvement for a 24.7 up to P13 for Ralphabos. His teammate is, in fact, his teammate is not here tonight. Hummer is not here. I was about to say Hummer is normally further up, but he can't be if he's not here. Hummer's actually in a yellow flag. Migrating host. Have I disconnected? Everyone's left the session. Oh, not sure what's going on there. I think it might have been me who disconnected. Let me just get back into the lobby. I'll be back shortly. Back already. I know you missed me. Thank you, Benny. Not usually I lag out, so I guess that makes sense. Everyone seems to have gone. That's a shame for those who had set fantastic laps already. Let me just back out of this, this lobby, and now my controller's gone as well. Fantastic. Bombeer asks if his quali band's now gone. Not sure, unfortunately. I'm going to restart the game quickly just to make sure that everything is in order. Crikey. It's a shame we went a whole season almost without these disconnection issues for the servers. Of course, in the last one, we get issues. Pombeer is really fighting his quali ban. Right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back into it.
Still we rise, guys. Still we rise.
The 2018 World Championship, 5-time, mate, 5 times.
Let's see. Wait for an invitation. Going back to your prediction, you still think Bog's going to get pole and win the race? Is he going to bottle it now under the pressure of having to set another qualifying lap? Oh dear. Can't even remember what the order was now. Let's see if I can just get some music on whilst we here we go, there's an invitation. Plenty of invitations. There we go. A little bit of music while we wait. Yeah, D-Rush had a fantastic lap. Let me know if this is too loud as well, by the way. In fact, I've added the wrong one, so don't even bother replying to me. I'm just being silly. Ah, there we go. I'll turn it down just a little bit. There we go. So I've not got to fight over it. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Bog had gone out on his first lap and said that time was impressive, as well as Riker in the Aston Martin was incredible. I never know what times to look for in Division 2, even though I could work it out based on what I'd seen in Division 1 the day before. I still never know what to look for. Yeah, and I think Bog always, in Division 1 at least, seems to have to deal with someone getting in the way or sending a move down the inside and just compromising him somehow, whether it's damage or whether it's just a loss of time. And he really can avoid that in Division 2, where he's got the pace over a lot of people. Tell you what, I should have included this music during some of the streams, I reckon. Why not? It's a nice bit of background. Slowly getting everyone in. I think we only need a couple more. 15, I think we had 16, 17. Yes, I think yeah, I think especially for Connor, it's I don't know if it's a mental thing about being in Division 1 where if it's a pressure thing or just purely he's thinking, right, let me just get all the practice in, test everything, including track limits for Division 2, where he knows that he can put them to good use. He has got quite a fortunate in this season, and but in Division 2 as well for him. But yes, Bog and Con have not done particularly well on the luck side in Division 1. Right, everyone is beginning to ready up. Good stuff, good stuff. The go ahead for ready up has been sent. Here we go, the countdown has begun. Unbelievable final race. Yes, everyone remember to put their setups on. Should remember, I think it's a full restart. Not like we're going straight into the race. Should I do my intro again? Welcome back to DTR. You joined me here for the final race of Season 14 here in Division 2. Fittingly in Abu Dhabi, we've had a good 12 minutes of qualifying before the game decided to absolutely ruin itself, kick everyone, including myself, and we have now finally got back into another one. Few people to look out for after watching those in that early session. Bog setting a really fast time very early on. D-Rush was on provisional pole before we had our incident. That's what I was thinking, Benny. This is the first one. In fact, I don't even think Division 1 had this. We've had 24 races, or 23 races, without issue. 24, we almost got there. Not quite. Right then, here we go again. 18 minutes of qualifying. Wonder if people won't actually go out. I think you are okay to go out now. We've served our minute silence for Lewis Hammers UK 88 for those who knew him on Discord and on track. We've got Andre on his way out. Looks like we've got another 3 cars out there. Let's get all the info up. Don't need that. Do want those though. Right then. Right on board with Andre. Why not? We'll go back and look at the standings again. Why not? Just as a reminder. E Summers 90 on the prime spot to take the championship for the drivers here tonight in his McLaren. Not the best qualifying performance earlier on before we had the resets. I think he was only about 7th or 8th after we had few people set their times. Johnny was doing pretty well. I think he was on 3rd when he set his time. Johnny, joined by his teammate Havoc Connor, I think slightly outdid him to replace him in that 3rd place at some point. Bog, obviously, as mentioned a few times, set a very good banker lap. He'll be disappointed if he can't replicate that now. Kipke and Andre, ever consistent out there. Of course, we're going to watch Andre do his lap right away as soon as he starts it now. Racing Balls have essentially clinched the Constructors' Championship with a 40-point lead. A massive swing Ferrari would have been needed if they were to take it here tonight. So let's have a look at what Andre can do. Coming into the start-finish straight. It's only a short one, not a massive run down to turn 1, but of course, for some people in particular, it always feels longer when you bottle the start and then get overtaken. Excuse me. Turn 2, for me, is such a annoying one, and turn 3 as well. You want to take the curb on the inside of both, but can always throw the rear out much more than you'd like. Avoid that curb on the right-hand side. It dips down, and you can get the bottom of the car beached, and you fly off into the distance onto the stands down there now for the first DRS trait. Not a massive amount of ERS being used for Andre, actually. He stuck it in hot nap, but no. Thank you. For some reason, Discord was in the same place as standings. But of course, I'm talking, so anyone who's blind will have not a different experience. Long left-hander after setting up level sector 2, of course, the first man to do it, so will always be purple. Double right-hander, no braking needed until the 3rd right angle, basically, of a right-hander into the hotel section. Massive amount of pressure on the tyres after doing almost a full lap. Plenty of heat is always going to make it difficult to get the car turned in, plus a bit of off-camberedness to throw into the mix as well. Final corner, he comes round to hit a 24.4. Decent banker, considering the quali has just started. Ralphbers, P2 at 25.1, Pipke at 23.7. Lovely jubbly. Andre, sorry, no, Katsis only just about misses out on the 124s with a 25.099. We have got what looks like Johnny. Yep, it is in the final sector. A bit wider than you'd like through the hotel section. Just 2 more corners to go. A little bit of ERS usage, although that's gone now as he makes it around the final corner. 23 something. It's going to be 23.961. He'll be looking to take a bit of time off of that in his next run, I should think. Good RMS there. Brother Adam at 24.598. A good backer for the Mercedes driver. Lukatis has been round already. Who is next to cross the line? You've got a Mercedes of Tom Putty. Moves himself up into P5 at 24.253. Much better than his teammate after they were pretty close together in the qualifying for this. He's managed to outdo him somewhat now. We've got the 2 passes about to start their laps will join with Bog, I think. No, Nell actually is leading the way. Yellows in sector 3. Hopefully no impeding will be taking place. A purple sector 1, it seems, for Nell Boy. That seems to have stuck around as well, so I definitely think it is. DRS and ERS on for the Haas driver. Harsh braking into the chicane. I can always get a feeling of locking up the rear tyres into here if I'm not careful after a few laps of tyre wear. In this, he's actually aborted the lap. It looks like he has. Not sure why, seems to be going well. Jump on board with Bog. We see Skipper, he's in sector 3, about to finish his lap, hopefully not getting impeded by whichever Mercedes that is, as he comes around the final corner. Purple sector 2, set by Bog. Up into P11 for Skipper at 25.118, very close between him and Ralphibus, as well as Lacatis as well, actually. B. Summers has done a 24.3, just thought I'd mention that. Very mid-table for a man who's leading the championship. Final corner. 23.734. Almost takes pole off of Pipke, but he's just beaten to it by 0.03 of a second. That is very close. He'll be happy, I think, but just a little bit annoyed that he didn't get that very small amount of time. I'm sure he'll have at least one corner in mind where he would have lost that amount of time around his first lap. Of course, only a banker. He can go again and set a cracking lap if he gets it all hooked up. Everyone into the pits again, and those that are out doing their in-laps. Apart from Connor, of course, who just burrowed himself up to P4, just etches into the 123s ahead of his teammate, just like the session before this, a 23.945 versus 9.61 of his teammate Johnny. Looking like they're going to wrap the constructors up here tonight, even if the Ferraris finish 1 and 2. I think it's only going to be, 10 points I think they need? In fact, it's probably even less. Going to be 25 for a win, 18, so it's going to be less than that. 8 points they need to 8 points to keep the constructors in their hands. I think after they won it in Division 3 last season, I suppose it would technically be them winning a Division 2 one, but we'll say it's them keeping it. Very wide there. That's not particularly the line you'll want to take in the race. Get a bit of off-board action. I was questioned about my off-board action last week. I'll make sure we get plenty of that in this race. Some aggressive tyre warming from Riker. We saw this in the previous session. Look at the amount of steering input he puts into those front tyres to overstress them, get the friction up massively, get heat into the front. It's much easier to warm the rears than it is the fronts in these F1 cars, of course, so that sometimes is a necessary action to take if you want to get them warmed up for your qualifying lap. As expected, we'll see Riker edge into the 123s with this lap. Only 2/10 off at the moment. Sure, he can gain that over a decent lap here with 8.5 minutes to go, I reckon, by the time he gets to the start-finish line. Jump on board with Johnny. He's actually the next man to set a lap. At a 1/10.5 up after sector 1 and 2. Lots more time to be gained through sector 3, so there's always the chance he can gain 3-4 tenths more than he has already if he gets some good lines through here. A bit of wide earlier on, so I reckon there is some time to be gained. Again, it was a tad wide, but much better than his previous lap, with the understeer not being quite so bad through the hotel section. One more corner to go, and still no battery at with him this time, and that is a pole time of 1:23.588, faster than any time we've seen in either of these sessions so far. Fantastic lap for him. As I mentioned, massive amounts of time gained in the third and final sector. Tom Putty also now. In fact, his teammate is the first one, but he's actually invalidated. So we'll take a look at whoever it is next. It's not Pombeer, but it's actually his teammate, if I remember where he is. D Rush up in P4. He's actually on an outlap. Go back to Riker then. Actually, Tom Putty, he's about to finish his lap. Almost invalidated in the final corner. 74 thousandths quicker. Won't be enough to make him move up a position there, unfortunately. Or if it did, it might have been on Riker, and I didn't notice. A Ferrari coming across the line. There might be Pipke on his outlap. Yes, it is. The two Asses also on their outlap. They'll start their lap now. And finally, Lacaptis as well comes across the line to start his second lap of qualifying. Connor. We'll see the 23.5 thrown out by Johnny. As his teammate, of course, he's the first man he'll want to beat according to all F1 drivers ever. It's always the thing you see on Drive to Survive. You must beat your teammate, or blah, 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 this, blah, blah, blah. Not a fantastic first couple of corners, a bit of oversteer taken. Yeah, 3/10 down already through just sector 1. A massive amount of time needs to be gained if he's going to try and put a good lap in here. He's still going for it, though. Not backed out just yet. Only got the fuel for this one lap. So if he doesn't want to abort, he's going to have to pit as well. Can't just go out again. Or go round again, should I say. Much more hooked up this time through the chicane of Sector 2 there. Keep an eye as he crosses the line for Sector 2 into 3. If he's up or down, he's down even more, 4.5 tenths. Unfortunately, this means I'm going to have to stop watching you, Connor. We've got a big slide here from NLD Rush, who's gone backwards out of turn 1. Unfortunate for him. He comes across the line with a 23.520 for displaced Johnny at the top of the leaderboard here for qualifying. That is a fantastic lap again from Pipke. This is good. If you can do it once, that's great. If you do it twice, that is fantastic. Should be good for him and his chances in this race tonight. D-Rush is out. Of course, he has this lap after spinning out of turn 1. Andre is actually on a lap, a bit of understeer into turn 1 and a lack of curb usage on exit. And yeah, curb in turn 2. Just touches it in turn 3. That is fantastic. Line through there. You want to scrub the least amount of speed off as possible. A tenth and a bit up. A little bit deep into turn 5. There's actually quite a few different lines you can take through turn 5 that work wonderfully as long as you're getting a nice good exit down this back straight with the DRS. Only DRS being used, just 33% left for this next DRS straight. Always interesting to hear how much throttle the drivers like to put into the car through such a corner with that amount of camber. Fairly confident, I must say. Level sector 2, no, just a personal best as the purple fades from the track map. Very little battery left, but of course for most people they're not using a huge amount through sector 3. A big lift through the second part of the hotel section, something that I actually did I think yesterday in my qualifying lap. Worked reasonably well for me. See what I can do for Andre. P9 now, but he's going to be moving up. A pole position at 23.51. Sorry, 23.351. Almost 2 tenths over his teammate. They might be out of the championship by pure moral and the fact that they don't think they're going to get enough points. But at 1-2 is as best as they're going to do at trying to take it back from the V-carbs. Skipper, the only one out currently on a hot lap. Get some off-board action for Mr. D. Summers. Of course, this means you can hear my voice more prominently You might like that, you might not. Personal best in the second sector for the Kicksamba driver. He's actually got matching times at the moment with Lacazzi in 12:25.099 on the dot. Good use of curbage through sector 3. Uses plenty of the track on exit as well. Moves himself up to P10 at 24.343. Hopefully he can stay there and retain some points in the race. Look at Andre coming around for his in lap. He will be pitting now. Bog and his teammate on their out laps once again. Bog with a 23.734. He'll be looking to make a big advantage on this now. You got 4 tenths to gain to get pole. Not undoable, not impossible, but a big ask when the times are already so quick. Lots of speed taken into turn 5. A little bit of oversteer matched by understeer halfway through that corner. A decent drive out means he'll get a lot of speed down this straight. Maybe even a small toe from his teammate out in front of him. Always a trade-off having such a big toe down a straight like that when you've got a massive amount of braking into what was a massive sausage curb. He's just sort of flown over out of the second part of the chicane. Looks like Nell is going to move out of the way. Again, a massive amount more speed into this big long left-hander when you get that toe. Good for the speed down straight, but can always compromise yourself when in the braking. Purple sector 2 has disappeared. Might just be in a PB for now, but a PB for him is going to be fantastic with a 23.7 set already. What can he set now? 20% battery left, a good amount to send him all the way down into the final corner. He might even use a bit out of said final corner. Decent line taken. 23.526, only just behind Pipke in P2. He'll be very pleased with that, even though he's on an out lap now. Johnny, he's on his lap. He's actually finished it at 23.588 for P4. D-Rush is finishing his now with 23.804 set already. What can he improve that to? He's actually invalidated Connor, so he won't be setting a no lap. D Summers at 23.797, not bad, a 5/10 improvement for him. Johnny's actually on his in lap now. 23.588 his time. I think it was that. Am I going insane? Was D-Rush at 23.664 up into P5. Good time for him. Although I think he would have been much happier with the time he was setting earlier. I reckon he could have gone quicker after a bit of confidence boosting with that banker. Now boy has retired. We've got Tom Putty on a lap. Looks like he might be the final one to do his lap. In fact, I think that is Johnny at the end, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is going to be Tom Putty. Purple sector 2, potentially. It's sticking around for a while. It has gone now, so it might just be a PB as usual. That's very deep into the sharp right-hander. It can always compromise your hotel section, and that is not a part of the track you want to compromise in any fashion. 2 more corners to go. There's a Haas sat there, but he won't begin the way. On a corner a little bit late again, probably just trying to get a few more tenths out of it than he might or should be trying to get out of it. An improvement, though, of 2.6, 2 tenths. 267 thousandths, if you want to be specific. D Summers is on his in lap. D Rush is also on his in lap, and Riker, that's a final time 4 tenths faster. 23.7 moves him up to P6 ahead of our championship leader and likely championship winner for tonight. That is incredible from the 2 Ferraris to set themselves up for a 1-2 start in the final race of the season. Andre in the chat, OMG PP. I'm not sure what PP is. If it's pole, and that makes sense. His teammate lining up right beside him. 23.3 is a fantastic time for Division 2, over a tenth and a half ahead of his teammate who dons the German flag here tonight. Harry Bogarovsky, after setting a decent time but not quick enough to beat Pipke in his fastest lap, a 23.526, takes the final podium position for the start. There's the rest of your finishers. I noticed the time has gone very quickly, so just want to make sure they were all on screen. Keep an eye on Summers. I believe he has to finish E8 or above to win the Drivers' Championship. Hands down, completely possible to beat him no matter where anyone else finishes. If he finishes 9th or below and Johnny picks up a win, then Johnny will be crowned champion. And it will be a double championship for him and the V-Carbs. Fantastic quality, even if it took almost, well, it probably would be twice as long by the time we had to actually get back into this lobby. 52 minutes we've been live already. Going to be a little bit of a later one tonight for the season finale. Players will be setting up their strategies. 2 stops will there is a word beginning with C, but I can't remember it. But they will include, maybe I'm thinking of include at least 1 hard tyre, probably 2 for most. And of course, the medium tyre will be the other. Off tyre does not go particularly well around here with the degradation, especially on the back. You are doing a 1 stop, which is possible. I prefer a hard tyre start. Get yourself long into the race. Take it easy at the start. See if you can avoid any carnage. And then take a medium to the end. That is a nice view there. The 2 Ferraris out in 1st and 2nd. Of course, our final formation lap of the season. We will stick on with 3rd. Get a bit of off-camera action, hopefully, for the start and see if we can catch any shenanigans going on further back. Andre, if you are listening, the grid box, for some reason, seems to end early. Just keep that in mind after Benny ruined it yesterday, although he was very far left. So it might have been him just being a muppet. Also very, very likely. However, you've been warned. We all know what this game's like. Haven't Connor down in P9. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed with that, to be honest. However, I believe he's got plenty of race pace. If he goes for a 2-stop, we might be seeing him make some fantastic overtakes throughout this race. I will try and remember, in fact, use my replay ability. I always forget to use it. I've got it set up properly, so as long as I remember to use it, press the correct buttons, we'll get to see some of the action at least twice. Anyway, back up to P3 as they come around the final corner to set into their grid boxes. In fact, I haven't even looked at the tyres. Get a quick look at the tyres. Everyone on mediums, apart from Tom Putty, who loves a hard tyre, and Nellboy right to the back on the hard tyre as well. Bog and D-Rush have decided to miss their grid box. Could be very bad for the man in P3. Johnny will be looking to make a massive advantage out of that. In fact, just for that, we'll stay on with Johnny, just to see if he can make that advantage work for him into turn 1. As we finally get everyone in line. They were held for a long time yesterday. Will they be held for a long time today? Yes, they will. Incredibly long time. Felt like a really slow start for almost everyone there. Got a few moves happening at the back, but the front 4 are going very nice and clean through there. And like I said, Bog has been overtaken by Johnny early on. Riker has made a move on D-Rush as well. They're going a bit wide there, D-Summers, through the second corner of the track. The bollard goes flying off the left-hand side there, that is never lasting very long in this race. I always hit it in qualifying practice. There's a bit of a bump there between the Aston Martin, and there's actually an Aston Martin near the back who spun around. That is Lagatzis, and looks like Raikkonen was involved, going back up to those further up the grid. While going for a move down the inside on Johnny into the chicane, doesn't quite make it work. And look, the NLD Rush was flying. Massive hit. Oh my word, what's going on? I don't even know. Where's the replay button? Oh, I've got it, I think. We've got a VSC. What on earth? We got D Rush with no front wing left at all. We saw him flying across the sausage curb in the second part of that chicane in sector 2. It looks like D Summers got caught up. He's got no end plates on either side of his McLaren. That is big for this championship. He does not need this if he wants a nice steady race to the end. No damage for Skipper or Brother Adam. Havoc Connor, I think, has got away with it as well. Riker, yep, he's fine. Bog is fine as well. Let's have a look at Ralphibus. He was still going wide there. Steady on. Ralphibus is fine. Nellboy, fine. Pombeer looks fine. Okay, we got a few into the pits. We'll have a look at that in a second. Let's quickly have a look at that replay. No idea what happened. It just looked like a big concertina kerfuffle in the second part of that second sector, and then people catching on the other people with their rear tires, their front tires, carbon fiber flying everywhere. It was a good move for Bog. In fact, he didn't quite get it done in the first part, but I think he's thrown him off a little bit. DRS is enabled, and we are back to green flag racing, so we'll get that back up on screen. Fantastic stuff for those guys out in well, P6 and above, really, who managed to avoid all of that carnage. No moves just of yet. We'll have a look actually at position changes. The biggest loser is actually D-Rush, down 9 places. Everyone here in the Havoc Connor to Pombeer stretches has been gained at least 3 after those having their incident. D2 is its best, of course. Of course, it wouldn't be D2 without this kind of stuff, Benny. I'm putting down 8 as well, and Summers down 6 in P13. Of course, he would have taken a new wing, I would have hoped, and some hard tyres for that. You'd like to think he's got at least a second set of hard tyres just in case something bad happens later on in the race. But the clean air will at least be doing him a good job at this stage. He said it's the fastest lap, but she's then replaced by Barry Bogarovsky at 33.7. The first, that wasn't even a flying lap, was it? This is the first flying lap, so that will probably be changed very soon. Just keeping an eye on the gaps. Riker's dropped out of that DRS. He'll be under threat from Havoc Connor down this main straight unless he just about got back in. I don't believe he did though. We'll keep an eye on Havoc Connor. He's got Brother Adam right behind him. A little bit of a lost time out of the hairpin there on the Aston Martin in front. But if you are going to make a move, you prefer to make it in the second part of the DRS around this back straight. That is late on the brakes, Brother Adam. Lovely. He gains a lot of time on Havoc Connor into the chicane. A much better run out of there for the recarb driver. If this is not an overtake, I don't know what will be. Around the outside, into the long left-hander for Havoc Connor. That's him up to P5 and 1 position away from his teammate. He'll be looking to gain the 3/10 to get into DRS in this final sector before they go around a second time under green flag conditions. We did have a move at the back. I believe that was D-Rush actually on Tom Putty. Might even be Tom Putty on Raikkonen, but we won't take a look at that just yet. Riker already looks to be losing out to Havoc Connor very, very prematurely. Dropped the 1 second, has gained it back a little bit. Havoc Connor, of course, pushing as fast as he can, sets a new fastest lap, try and get into the DRS of Bog in front. Looks like he's going to do that, and Riker will do the same. Brother Adam is real close. He's actually going to go for a move into the left-hander here. Horrendous cameras around the outside. He'll pick up the DRS, you hope. At least. Yes, he does. That should keep him in P6, although Riker's gaining a little bit on the brakes. Will he go for it? Yes, he certainly will. Down the inside, there's a bit of a clatter into the chicane, but not too much. And then Brother Adam just hits wide and hits Riker off track. A little bit of self-awareness may have been needed there, just as a bit of etiquette. But he looks like he's going to go for it anyway. Skipper. What a move from Skipper on the outside of both of them. Will be recorded. Skipper, fantastic stuff. Oh, and Brother Adam's gone. Massive spin out of the long left-hander, and was it his wing? Yes, both end blades gone for Brother Adam. That is a big loss for him. Not sure if he hit someone else. I think he did hit someone else. I don't know who. I can't see any front wings. In fact, did Nell pick up some damage there? I can't see an end plate on the right hand. No, he's got lots of damage on that right hand side of the front wing. I'm surprised he didn't pit there. Look how much he's struggling with understeer through the first corner alone. This is going to be awful for the Haas drivers race, unfortunately. He needs to get a new front wing put on that. Hopefully he's got the tyres to set a decent strategy up for the rest of this race. Ultra defensive into this hairpin with that wing damage, but even so, Bombier right on the back. You have to think he's going to send one down into the chicane. He's going to lose time behind this Haas driver otherwise. No DRS for Nellboy means he's basically defenseless all the way down here now. Lots of overspeed for the Williams driver. Gets that move done well before the braking zone, and that is a very fast approaching Lukatsis, who makes a move on Nellboy. Almost gets a switchback, but that wing damage probably just holding him back from maintaining the P10 he's just lost out on. Never mind, the DRS, strong, gets him past again into the long left-hander, but he's going to really struggle. Look at how slow he has to go to keep on the racing line. And we see a dive into this right-hander. No, thinks better of it. Very wise there, Lukatsis. Not the best place to make a move, although if you had, I'd have commended you for it as well. The top 5 doing as we have seen previous in some of the earlier on D2 sessions, just getting into a rhythm, keeping the tyre wear to a minimum, and setting out a decent pace to drop those behind him. Nellboy enters the pits as I thought he would. He picks up a new front wing and a set of medium tyres for the Haas driver. Summers is going to overtake him in the pits, so is D-Rush, Tom Puddy, and likely Raikkonen as well. It's a shame for him. Ipke and Andre have swapped. Can't imagine it was a particularly hard overtake to make, likely working together. This is fantastic. Look at this, 2 Ferraris and then 2 V-Carbs going at it. Have a Connor looking to make a move on his teammate there, it seems. His teammates having none of it. Johnny's saying, get out of it. Og watching from behind in P5. Ooh, lots of curb on the inside for Havoc Connor there. You don't want to do that too often. And lose the rear real easy with the off-camberedness of that inside curb. In fact, I'm missing something. There we go, that's much better. Skipper is trying to get into the DRS train, and you can see ahead. 1.5 seconds the gap was. He's actually gained a couple of tenths in the final corner. Might be getting a bit extra now. Skipper in the 1 second. Can he keep it where he gets to the DRS detection? Just edges out of it again, burning the battery to get back in. Looks like he's going to do so. Yellow flag. Final sector. NLD rushes round again. But the final corner looks like he's got a bit trigger happy. What's going on there? And that is a massive amount of front wing damage again. You can see it on the side of the track up at the back of the start-finish straight. He'll be back into the pits once again, I'm sure. Oh, could be looking to get around the outside of Connor. Both have DRS. Connor lets him through into the long left-hander. Not surprising. I don't think either of these guys up front are wanting to spend too much time or tyre life fighting for positions that on lap 7 mean nothing. All matters where you are on the end of lap 29. Looking back, we got Pombeer in the DRS as well as Lakatzis of Ralphibus. Bit of a train going on and a big slide on the rear for Pombeer out of the hotel section. The medium is starting to give up. 8 laps on them done now. If they're going to be doing a 2-stop, it's not going to be long before the medium runners are in for a fresh set of tyres, whether it's mediums or hards. Yeah, not having fun. It doesn't look like this Williams driver in the tyres. So hesitant. And again, just having to counter steer, a bit of oversteer caught on the curb. Nellboy sets a new fastest lap with his fresh medium tyres, and Brother Adam enters the pits on lap 8. Back up to these top 5, which actually is made a top 6. Now Skipper has joined the party. Johnny right on the back of Andre through the second half of that chicane. He's burning the back to try and make any sort of impression on him into the long left-hander, but it's not going to be enough. DRS doing Andre a big favour here. The 2 Ferraris working incredibly well to maintain their first and second positions at this stage. Interesting to see the lines that are taken through sector 3 once the tyre wear kicks in. Riker only 1.7 off the back. Andre pulls the trigger and pits, the first man to pit from these front group. He's on the mediums. What's he going to take? I suspect it will be a hard tyre. Very slow into the pits. Hopefully that won't be too much of an issue for him. Yep, the hard tyre for Andre. He won't come out in traffic, hopefully. You'll expect these guys will be wary of the undercut that Andre might be getting. He might come out a little bit behind Z Summers. It won't bother him too much. He might catch up with the tyre wear advantage. Ahead of Tom Putty as well, which is reasonably critical. You don't want to be stuck behind anyone for any longer than a couple of corners. Very deep for Pipke into the chicane. This looks like a move potentially done and dusted for Johnny, but it's not got a massive amount of battery. He's already burnt his out though, Pipke has, so it's going to be moved, done and dusted for the V-car. That is P1, at least net for now. Andre might come out ahead with a bit of an undercut. Just looking back at Bog, almost having a look on Pipke as well, but I think he'll probably think better of it all the way through what is now sector 3. Keep an eye on where these guys come out, if they even decide to pit. They might stay out for another couple. Depends if they're going for the 1 or 2 stop. Johnny stays out, Pipke stays out, Bog stays out, Havoc Connor goes in. We'll keep an eye on Havoc Connor then. No one else pitting just yet. We've got D Summers coming around the final corner. Andre about 3.5 seconds back from him. Hard tyres for Havoc Connor coming out behind Andre, and is he going to be behind the Mercedes as well? It's going to be pretty close. Get on the throttle. Yes, he is. He's real close, but he's not quite done it behind the Mercedes or the DRS straight. It might actually become an advantage as long as you can get the move done quickly. 2.8 seconds though, the gap now between him and Andre. It might be a bit more. We got, who's that? Brother Adam. It's off of turn 1. We got a virtual safety car. No from wing, but the Mercedes means that this man are licking their lips, and this man as well. They will be straight into the pits if it lasts long enough. Well, I'm sure even if it doesn't last long enough, any advantage they can get by gaining time in the pit lane from the VSC, they will take. We'll jump on board with Johnny. He's almost there, just a couple of more corners before he does go into the pit lane. Havoc Connor will be absolutely fuming with the timing of this VSC. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4, and 5 into the pit lane. Of course, they are going to gain massive if this VSC stays out. D Summers gets a choice here. I think he pits. I think he should pit. I think he should pit. I think he should pit. He doesn't pit. He'll gain track position. Or at least I think he will. But the tyre wear advantage could be huge. For those who are now behind him, who are under green flags, they've lost no time at all. That was a perfect stop for these front 5. Look at this. Connor, he's actually done all right to still be behind Riker now, unfortunately, as he dives down the inside of turn 5. Good move for him and Skipper. It could have been a lot worse considering he pitted without the VSC to aid him. No moves being done quite into the chicane, although that was almost really close for Connor's front wing. Can he go around the outside? Or at least try to go around the outside of Riker out to the chicane. Will he get it done? If he does, that was a fantastic move. Side by side still through the long left-hander. And that is it move done? Yes, it's moved up for Havoc Connor. In fact, I've just remembered we've got a overtake to look at. Skipper, a double overtake into the section we've just watched with Havoc Connor and Riker. Unfortunately, this one might have just been a bit better. You see him just about comes into frame on the right-hand side there and makes a massive overtake around 2 to go down the outside around 2 people who were squabbling big time. Brother Adam maybe getting a little bit cheeky, bumping him off the road. Skipper takes full advantage. Fantastic move, and apologies that it took so long to show. Anyway, up with the front pack. D Summers has already been overtaken by Johnny and dropped by a good measure. 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 seconds. The gap now. We'll have a look quickly at tyres. 10 versus 1 on the age of those tyres. Andre obviously pitted a little bit earlier. He's got 3 laps on his. But another position lost for our championship leader under DRS, this time to Pipke. Will he lose another to this Ferrari? Hoping we see a generational bottle for the entertainment value. I'm going to assume that is you, Nathan, even though it's not Nathan or ND310. D Summers has fought back big time through the big long left-hander, but around the outside, Andre thinks about it, backs out ultimately into Sector 3's hotel section. It is indeed good to see you in the chat, Nathan. Shame you couldn't be racing tonight. Just keeping an eye on these gaps. Yes, I think it's possible. You know, I mean, we've got Johnny leading with a strategy that is the same as everyone else. He's got all the chances in the world to win this race. And D Summers, after being caught up in some mayhem early on, he's losing out to people with fresher, newer tyres. He's going to lose out again to Andre and Bog at the same time. A double position lost for the McLaren driver. P5 now. Remember, P8 is the magic position. He finishes there, he wins the championship. Anything lower, and Johnny wins, he loses the D2 Season 14 Drivers' Championship. Another move with Bog into the left-hander on the DRS. Andre just gives him a bit of extra space. Good and fair there from the Ferrari into Sector 3. That was a nice, ambitious move for Bog. That's good stuff to see. Yeah, it's honestly, this could go anyway. I really don't know. Connor is the next man to try and get past D Summers. Is he going to try into turn one? I wouldn't think so. Not the easiest place to do it. And when you got the aid of DRS coming up shortly, you're going to have to assume he does the move there, as he would say, he goes for the move. And keep an eye. Skipper is real close as well. Back at these two, he's having a fantastic time here in Abu Dhabi. Plenty of traction out of the hairpin for the VCARB driver. DRS will seal the deal for this move into P5. Move done and dusted. Skipper is next on the defense list for E Summers. DRS was gained for the McLaren driver, so you would like to think he'll at least have this one, this time into the long left-hander. Did he pick up some damage? He did, but he has got that wing replaced. I wondered if he'd actually kept the end plate off and just stayed with the 2-second pit stop time. Brother Adam picks up the new fastest lap at 1:26.3 on some fresh medium tyres, I suspect, down in P16, not having a good time of it at all in the Mercedes. D Summers 1.7 off the back of Connor, losing and losing time all the way through. Not a single part of his track is he gaining on anyone with the extra worn tyres. Andre, oh, that was very wide from Connor there. Just caught that on the right-hand side of the screen. D Summers, once again, loses out. Of course, not fighting any of these. He just want to lose even more time than he's losing already. You'd like to think that Riker is going to send one up the inside into the long left. Unless D Summers, he actually has got quite a lot of battery to defend this with. But Riker is right there with him anyway. Would he go for it anyway? Go on. Yes, down the inside. The Aston Martin, with that tyre advantage, is going to keep the inside line and put the power down earlier. The move's done as he makes his way out of the far long left-hander. Double position loss for Mr. D Summers in Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3 there. Again, just the tyre wear massive impeding him. I did say he probably should have pitted under that VSC as he was making his way around, and now maybe he's come to realise it's time for these hard tyres to come off and the medium tyres to jump on. He's still got a long way to go though. I mean, I took the mediums from here to the rest of the race, but he's gone for a second set of hard tyres. Of course, he started on mediums, so this will be appeasing the 2 compound rule. Hard tyres to the end will be plenty enough for the McLaren driver. Down in P12, Nellboy is going to come out just behind him. He's got, well, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4 positions to secure the championship, unless Pipke has anything to say about it, which in fact he might. He's gone into the DRS again of Johnny out in front. Maybe Johnny just thinking about the tyres in the long run a little bit more. Brother Adam picks up another 3-second penalty. That's a couple he's picked up this race. Two Ferraris doing all that they can for this constructors title. Somewhat 2024-esque with the Ferrari championship battle with McLaren that ultimately went down to the final race in Abu Dhabi. They only just missed out. Of course, the gap will be slightly bigger here with the massive 40-point gap that VCARB came in with over Ferrari into this race. Expect to see on this next lap now a fastest lap from D Summers. He spent a lap warming those hard tyres up. they'll be wanting to put pedal to the metal, not metal to the pedal, although I suppose both should work technically. Bit hesitant on the exit there, plenty of curb taken, and the V-carb ahead just compromises his acceleration out of the chicane into sector 3 with the long left-hander. He's kept the move safe off of Pipke. He didn't burn a massive amount of battery. I think he's also thinking about the long run. Only lap 17, still 12 laps to go after this one. Excuse me. Let's go and have a look at some of the others elsewhere. We've got Lecatsis. In fact, we've got Tom Putty and Ralph was going at it. Oh, he's gone around. That is a real. I think my heart just fell out. What on earth? If D Summers hasn't got brown pants, then fair play to him. I think the car ghosted as Summers went through him. That could have been game over for D Summers there. Wow. An incident between Tom Putty and Ralph Buzz in the long left of sector 3 almost takes D Summers out as he makes his way back onto track. I'm sure he'll be talking about that plenty later on, if he isn't already shouting about it in the comms with the rest of the drivers. It looked almost like Andre was going to send one down the inside of Barry Bogarovsky into that left-hander, which I've mentioned a trillion times tonight. Nellboy is sending a move on Skipper, though, into the chicane. Moved on well before they get to the chicane. Good move for the first, or last, should I say, point position. Just going to have a quick look at tyres. 7 laps, well, 8 laps now, sorry, for the front 3, 9, and now 10 for Andre. Riker will go on to 8 and Connor on 9. Lecatsis and Tom Putty, the first of the current medium runners, they will be in first and likely get some kind of undercut on the cars in front, even though there is a big 13-second gap between them. Everything counts. Lecatsis is actually in, which is very convenient timing. Nothing doing for this Ferrari driver, nothing doing for this Ferrari driver, but the Williams actually is lapped. Is almost had a look, but hopefully he will not be impeding those ahead of him too much. A yellow flag for an Aston Martin. Is that Lecatsis? Yes, it is. He's actually on new hard tyres. Might have been in 0 laps done, but he was on track, so maybe he spun in the pit lane and it threw the car out onto track. Not 100% sure there. We've got a Mercedes round for the final quarter. Not that one. It's Brother Adam who's picked up lots of penalties already. I think he's on 9 seconds now. We'll take a quick look at those. Yep, 9 seconds for him. Ralph Buzz has got 3, and so has his teammate, or well, Brother Adam's teammate rather, of Tom Putty. Yellow again. Brother Adam's out. We have a full safety car, and everyone has managed to get past the safety car before it got out, so they will not be held up. Fortunately for them, D Summers, he thought would be licking his lips, but I'm just thinking he's not got a tyre. Maybe they can get him to the end. I really do not know. He's going to go to the end on these hard tyres. I'm just trying to think of the strategy. Everyone else ahead of him is going to pit, but they will likely be ahead of him unless he's gained enough time with the undercut over the last few laps to get ahead of some of them. Okay, this is going to be interesting. We'll keep up the tyres just to see what everyone ends up on once we get everyone behind the safety car. We've already got P3 on the soft tyre. Nearly rushed prematurely on the soft tyre. Maybe didn't see this coming. He might have to go in for a second set. Tom Putty and Bombeer, the other two, of course, reacting to said safety car with some fresh soft tyres. Ralphibus as well follows suit. Looks like Lakatis is going to do the same down in P13. No, he's on medium tyres, 9-lap old medium tyres. They are not going to be very nice. In fact, he might pit again once he gets round. Raikkonen still hasn't pit. The front guys have come in, Johnny, Pipke and Bog, all for what I suspect will be some fresh soft tyres. In fact, hard tyres for Pipke, probably not a bad choice considering we've got a few laps left. The soft tyres might burn out early as well. Johnny, Bog, a nice fresh set of mediums. They're going to be the best of all the tyres to be on, in my opinion. Have Connor in as well. Fresh mediums for him. Riker fits a fresh hard. Andre is on a fresh hard. He's already pitted though, so we'll gain positions on the people that are into the pits still now. E4 for him comes out where he started. Riker, fresh hards. Skipper, fresh hards. Summers, fresh mediums did end up pitting in the end. Thought better of staying out. Good idea. Going to lose out to Tom Putty, it looks like. Well, that's not the right line, but okay. Oh, you'd like to think that actually he wouldn't have made that position if he didn't cut the corner at turn 1. Some reasonably fresh hard tyres for Nellboy. Some fresh softs for Pombeer. Raikkonen is in again. Off of the hard tyres. What will he go on to? Here we go, some fresh soft tyres, I suspect, for the Alpine driver. In fact, were they soft tyres? No, they're medium tyres. I'm sure they look like soft tyres. That might have been whoever it was behind him. Yes, it was. Lakatz's fresh softs. And D-Rush is already in the... Well, he's been in the pits. He's actually on the back of the safety car and lap down. In between Bog, is it Bog? Yes, Bog and Andre in P3.5, we'll call it. It's not going to be good for Andre on the restart. You're going to have to be cautious to not be held up by him. Anyway, I suspect it will be at least another lap. Yes, it will, whilst we get everyone bunched up on the back of the grid behind the safety car. Seven laps of racing we'll have if the safety car comes in this lap, which I suspect it will, unless we have a couple of extra hitters. We've got Nellboy in the pits, but I don't think he'll be holding up anyone more than we've got Lakatzis coming around in last, or at least track-wise anyway. Nathan, you're exactly right, because this man, our championship leader, is in P9, and if it ends like this, he will lose the championship to Mr. J5 Gaming. However, Tom Putty has a 3-second time penalty promoting Summers to P8, which means he'll win the Drivers' Championship. Now, unless there's any fastest lap extra point which makes the difference that I do not know about, because I've not checked all the numbers and how he can win and not win and all of that, then P8 is win and P9 is lose. So for Summers, he's probably not too happy, but all he is thinking at this moment is have a safe getaway. Johnny wins and gets fastest lap, then he wins it on more wins. Ah, yes, yes, you're right. So let's just check who has fastest lap. It's actually Brother Adam, who's out. So you suspect that on the second lap of this restart, will get a new fastest lap unless they manage to do it on the first one. If someone can play his cards right and use the DRS, Johnny is likely not going to get it unless he sets a fantastic lap. Hello, Double. You've joined us at a pretty good time here at the season finale for Division 2, Season 14. Safety car near the end means that everyone's bunched up with some fresh and not so fresh tyres. 5 lap is the oldest on Skipper, although there'll be 6 by the time we get going again. We have our championship leader, who I'm on board with now, in P9. He needs P8 or better to make sure he wins the championship, unless Johnny picks up a fastest lap, in which case, as Nathan has said, it will go to count back and Johnny will win it. It's all going to be going off here. We might even get a Michael Massey style ending, you never know. Anyway, if anyone's pants are brown, it's this man's. If anyone's blood is pumping, it's this man's. If anyone's heart is racing, it is this man's. Championship on the line. Well, you're exactly right, Double. With that penalty, as long as he stays within it, of course, he maintains P8. I think it's 3 seconds anyway. Let's have a quick look before we go. Yep, 3 seconds. I'll take the tyres off as well. As we get back racing, the safety car is in this lap. It takes a little while for it to get around sector 3. It's always a bit of a slog for those who are in the pack coming into the safety car restart. Everyone has made it round and onto the back of the pack. We'll try and keep an eye and see if anyone gets caught out on the start. When will Johnny go? You suspect it's going to be as early as possible. He's still holding him for now. Ooh, they get a bit rowdy. He's not gone yet. He's got to go soon. And he's gone. He's gone. Final corner, he's gone. There's big, big gap between him and Pipke. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of fast lap. A second already between him and Pipke. Andre's also been caught out. The two Ferraris not doing very well there on the restart. Skipper is under fresh pressure from Tom Putty, who has his penalty. If he can get away from D. Summers, who's having a nightmare on the restart. He's losing out to Pombeer. He's just had to defend aggressively on the inside. Those two come together. It's wing damage again for the Williams. We've got a car off. Heads. That is actually the lapped car. He's getting out of the way of everyone. Skipper and Tom Putty still going at it. D. Summers, I have no idea what happened for his restart, but that was not good at all. Pombeer almost got him around the outside. Potentially a slightly aggressive move. Keep a tight inside line in turn 2. Or turn 3, should I say. Pushed him off the track, and then eventually, or Nell, Summers now right on the back of Skipper. He needs to get these moves done as soon as possible. He does not want to lose that 3-second gap to Tom Putty. Just needs the tyres to warm up. Yeah, if you're talking about this man I'm on board with, he's on course to win the championship. What's going on at the back? It looks like D-Rush and Lacazette have come together. Massive damage for both. ERS enabled now. Can't change the camera. You won't let me change. Come on. I want to see if they got damage. Nope. Okay, whatever. We'll watch someone else then. All within DRS, this top. Oh, not quite 5. Havoc Connor's just lost out, even though he's using as much ERS as he possibly can. Riker has not got the line, I would think, to make a good exit out of this. The DRS will be open, but he's not going to be able to make a move on Havoc Connor ahead. Tom Putty under threat from Skipper and Summers. Down the inside for Skipper. Summers thinks better of it. Oh, he just taps the back of the Mercedes driver, goes for a slight switchback. He's going to get the power down. That is a good move for him on Tom Putty. Still side by side. He's going to go for a move with Skipper as well around the outside. Good stuff there. Nice and calm for the champion. As we speak, E7 will win it in. Lipke's picked up a 3 seconds. Not sure when that was. That's going to be pretty catastrophic for him unless Havakona drops back even further. We've got Nelboy and Raikkonen going at it through sector 3. Ravenberg's actually, Nelboy was off of the track. Bog picks up a new fastest lap, a 25.999. That is likely not going to be beaten by Johnny. So if he does want to win this championship, he's got to hope Summers has a big bottle job coming. As of now, double, D Summers is the driver's champion. Nelboy has retired in the pits. That is a shame for his final race of this season. Caught up with a bit of bad luck in places. Still out in P1, Mr. Johnny. Wow, not making a much of an impression, in fact, on Johnny in front of him. He's in the DRS still, not looking to make a move. 2 Ferraris, 3 and 4. This might be the best position for the both in any race this season, as far as I can remember. This is definitely up there. Andre might be giving a Pipke a bit of a tow with that penalty. He's got 2.2 seconds of a gap to him and Havakona. It obviously needs to be a little bit more than that. A bit wide from Havakona there coming into the hotel section. That is not going to be helping him, but he is still gaining time on the Ferraris out in front. D Summers 3 seconds behind Riker. It is coming down, at least from what I can tell. Oh, he's just struggling a little bit. So is Riker, though. If Johnny gets fastest lap, D Summers needs 7th or better just to clutch the championship. So even if Johnny gets it, at the moment, Summers still wins. Which I don't believe he has the fastest lap. Let's have a quick check. Yeah, it's still with Bog, and it's by a good margin as well. Over 5 tenths. Not likely that Johnny's going to be able to get that without a bit of DRS assistance. So all he needs to do is keep Skipper behind, and it's guaranteed. Like, guaranteed. If he loses out to Skipper, it's still guaranteed. Not quite as guaranteed, but still pretty much guaranteed. Yes, yeah, you are right. So if D Summers loses to Skipper, loses out to Skipper, it looks like the guys behind him are not going to catch him. And so he would still be the champion. However, this man knows how to pull a nightmare every now and then. 2 laps to go. Let's have a look at the tyres. He's got 8 lap mediums on. And getting to the point now where they're not too enjoyable to be running around on. That is why we see that gap opening up between him and Riker. Bog still unable to touch Johnny under DRS. Pipke as well, not making any impressions on Andre. Also not making enough of a distance between him and Havakona to maintain the P4. Skipper is real close after the DRS help. Those hards will be coming in clutch a little bit. He's thinking about a move. He's thinking. He's not going to do it. Look at the oversteer on that McLaren. Skipper must be believing that he can get a move done on the McLaren ahead. He just needs to build up the battery. Oh, a bit of a late braking maneuver. Almost hits him into the back of the McLaren. He's struggling so much with those tyres through the 3rd sector. Oh, he's gone round. Oh, he's not quite gone round, but a big smash into the wall for good measure means that he's going to be well off the back of D Summers, and D Summers can rest a little bit on this final lap. Johnny, despite everything, trying all that he could on this race to win and take the championship. It looks like at the very end it's going to crumble to just a couple of points difference between him and the championship winner. Like you mentioned, Bog, not quite close enough. Don't call it yet. Don't call it yet. Bog looks like he's well too far off. What's going on here? We've got a bit of action going on between the two Ferraris. Haven't Connor's dropped off? He might have had an issue. Riker's made an overtake, and it looks like if Ipke doesn't lose time, don't lose time to each other, guys, then he will keep his position against everyone who isn't his teammate. Oh my word, this is quite a bit to keep up on. Johnny will win tonight's race in Division 2. A fantastic strategy, fantastic pace, fantastic moves from the VCARB driver. He did everything that he could to try and win the championship tonight. It's out of his hands now. Bog comes in P2 and Pipke P3 on track will lose out to at least Andre, who takes the final podium spot. Havoc Connor doesn't get Pipke at the line. Riker finishes P6 and D Summers for the championship. P7, he is your Division 2 Season 14 World Drivers Champion. Fantastic stuff for him. Skipper follows up in P8, Raikkonen 9, Pombi at 10, and Pompudi 11. Rathbus and the Lakatzis will finish up in 12th and 13th. But for Season 14, this man, this McLaren, he tried a good go at the constructors as well. He couldn't do it with the lack of points from his teammate, but he got the drivers done. He made it much closer and much harder than it needed to be, but he's done it. Fantastic stuff. And I believe it's his first drivers' championship in any league in Formula One. Fireworks going off in the distance for him. If you can hear them, I'm sure he'll be ecstatic. Ooh, some close calls though for him. Yes, Andre, congratulations. Podium and P2 in the constructors. There wasn't much you could do today against what was a very strong performance from Johnny, taking the win and securing their constructors championship. I did mention earlier on that it was basically done and dusted. The 40-point gap between the VCARBs and Ferraris was always going to be an immense amount of effort to try and overtake them in the last race. He's not on the podium. He's going to be very pleased with himself. E. Summers got the most overtakes as well during this race, of course, with a bit of bad luck. That probably helped him there. Fastest lap went to Barry Bogarovsky at the end. A fantastic lap. Actually, the only one in the 125s, even though it was just about... And D. Summers, he started 7th and finished 7th. That's all he needed from the race tonight, and that's all he got. Fantastic. Yes, Andre did drive in this race. He was on there double. He finished 3rd. Pole position for the man and P2 for his teammate in qualifying. Fortunately, they dropped back a couple of places each. Still a strong showing for the Ferrari pair, though. Wow. D2 always performs. I think Benny mentioned it earlier. They always put on a good show. But it's been absolutely amazing this season. I've really enjoyed commentating on these guys' race. Some fantastic moves, some not so fantastic moves, but always fantastic entertainment, even on the tracks that really do not provide. So, for the final time this season, I will be showing D. Summers, your champion, of course. Fantastic stuff for him. He will be very pleased with that. Thank you, Benny. Thank you. I see that. The VCARBs take the constructors. That Johnny and Connor, again, going back to back after winning it last season in Division 3. Fantastic for them. I've also learnt this season that my favourite word is fantastic. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the race and this season. I hope you've enjoyed my commentating and my showing of these races. Of course, this is the last race, and so I will not see you next week, but I will be racing in a tribute race for the late Lewis Hammers UK 88 in a couple of weeks on February 10th. So make sure you're here for that. That will be streamed by Mr. Nellboy. I believe that should be a good race around Japan. Plenty of action there always, so that should be good. I hope you have enjoyed. I have been Grellis33, and I won't see you next week.